Hello everybody, Dr. Novak here. In this video, I'm going to talk about the goldfish aquarium, and this is going to be an update. So for the holiday season, if you're thinking about buying an aquarium, I'm going to try to give you as much information as I can in this video so you can make an astute decision on what aquarium would you like to buy for the holiday season. And that's coming up next. Okay, let's get into this video. First of all, the tank now has been set up over a month. And as you can see, the tank is crystal clear. In fact, I just had some people over last night, and there was a goldfish enthusiast who had goldfish, and he even made a comment how crystal clear the water looked in this particular tank. The thing I wanted to talk about is there's been zero problems with the tank. Okay, none, absolutely none. The lights come on at 7 o'clock in the morning. They ramp up to 100% by 12 noon. And from 12 noon to 8 o'clock in the evening, they're at 100%. From 8 to 10:15, they start ramping back down again. The lights do. This is a fluval light. And on top here, you can see I have brackets that raise it. I did a video how to make the brackets. They're working perfect. To bring it up so the lighting that comes down in a triangle will hit the very top instead of coming inside the tank. Anyhow, the whole system has been a charm. Zero problems. Once a week I clean the glass, but the fish have been doing great. The temperature right now is about 71 degrees. I have 71 degrees, and I have a thermostat in here, a small one, 200 watt, and that's to keep it so it doesn't go below like 70 degrees, because I don't want the tank to go that cold. 70 degrees, about as cold as I want it out here in the lanai. So goldfish like cooler temperatures. They're a cold water fish, and they prefer cooler temperatures than they do warmer temperatures. The problem is with goldfish, and I'm going to tell you right now, is a lot of people keep them at higher temperatures because they seem to always get sick and everything. But that's not the case anymore for myself. Using a plenum, using an anoxy filter, my fish don't get sick like they did years and years ago, my goldfish. In fact, the guy I had over last night, we were both talking, and I said, years ago, I said, if I kept a goldfish a year, that was a long time. Even though the books made claims that, oh, they've had this goldfish for 15 years or whatever. I said, if I kept a goldfish a year, that was a long time for me. And as I explained to you in some of my videos, there was a young lady who had a channel, and after 10 years, she finally threw the towel in with goldfish because they just constantly got sick and died. Too many problems with them. Okay. Anyhow, once I started with the plenum, and once I started using BCB baskets and stuff, all that went away. And then my goldfish lived for 15 to 17 years. And that didn't matter whether they were ranchus, Ryonkins, it didn't matter if they were Arandas. And I noticed that they could take the cooler temperatures and they wouldn't come up sick, they wouldn't come up with ick or anything else. This is just something that I noticed. So now goldfish live a lot longer for me compared to maybe 40 years ago. I just couldn't keep them. And I admit it, and I'm supposed to be the professional, and I couldn't keep them that long. There are people who can keep them that long, but I could not do it no matter what I tried. A lot of water changes, whatever. It just wasn't working out according to the way the books were saying you should take care of goldfish. Anyhow, the aquarium itself, this is a 40-gallon breeder. Now, coming up here in the United States, we are going to have Black Friday sales. And usually they have what they call a manager special for Petco or PetSmart. And I have never been able to buy a tank during Black Friday because they're all gone. So I'm just letting you know, if you're thinking about buying a tank and they're going to have the manager special where everything is half price, you get the stand, get the tank, all at half price, be early, because every time I've went, they're gone. So everybody must be looking to make sure they have the stands and the tank. And I don't know why they don't stock up on them, but they don't seem to, at least anytime I've been, and they're always sold out. That's just the way it is. So if you're thinking about it, whether you're thinking about a 55 gallon, a 75 gallon, or this 40 breeder. Now this 40 breeder is a little tricky because according to the dimensions, it is a 48 gallon aquarium, not a 40. So it's a misnomer that they say it's a 40 gallon, when in reality it's about 48 gallons of water, a little shy of the 55. So if you're looking for an aquarium and you're trying to keep things on the cheap, if you're looking for a stand, watch my video on what I did with the stand and how to cushion the tank onto the stand. It doesn't matter what you buy, but I found this 40 gallon to be a very friendly tank compared to the 55. And I'll tell you, because the height isn't there where you have to reach into a 55, which usually sits higher, and it only has about 12 inches of width, where this is 18 inches. So it makes it very convenient for maintenance. Believe me, I've noticed that it's like, oh wow, maintenance, cleaning the glass and maintenance is so much easier because the tank sits lower than a 55 or 75. Of course, that's up to you whether you're going to buy 55 or 75 or this 40 gallon breeder. But these are just things, this is what this video is about, is just to let you know so you have all this data. So if you decide you're going to buy a new aquarium, you can figure out what you want. And these are things maybe you didn't think about. Maintenance, the width of the tank. So if you're going to get a 55, for half price, you might as well get the 75. Okay, it's going to give you more width, but it's going to give you the height and length the same as a 55. 55s are just a little narrow, but you may say, oh, I don't have the space. Well, this could be an alternative going with the 40 breeder, which is actually 48 gallons of water, because they still make beautiful planted aquariums. They still give you the choice of depth. And as you can see, the goldfish, it can hold goldfish, tropical fish, a couple of Oscars if you want. The choice is yours on how you want to make the aquarium. But so I thought that this is the decision you have to make. If you go with the 48 gallons, not the 48, the 75 gallon, or you go with, let's say, the 55 gallon, you're going to have to get a bigger light, which is going to cost you more. Okay, and you could do the same thing as I did to bring the light up off the thing, unless you're going to buy a canopy and everything with it. But you're still going to have to bring the light off the aquarium if you want. These are choices that you have to make. But let's just go with this tank for now. And let's say you're thinking, no, I think I would like to go with the 40 gallon breeder versus a 55. And I can't go with the 75. It's a little too big, and I don't have the room. So, but I'll let you know that whether you get the 55 or 75 or this 40 gallon breeder, you're going to set them up all the same way. I have a video on how to set it up. I have a video on how to do the lighting. I have a video about the canister filter, but I'm going to give you a review of everything so you can make a decision, so you can start buying your stuff that you want now. So come Black Friday, you can get the tank and stand from Petco or PetSmart or whoever is selling the manager special, and that's when they usually do it. Okay, so the tank has been running excellent. Zero problems. We got about 15 hours of light. As you can see how I got it set up, I got a piece of driftwood. There's room so the fish can swim around it. That's goldfish like that. It gives them a sense of security. The algae is growing, but it's not growing out of control. And I know some people are thinking, you have 15 hours of light at 100% blue, red, and the other spectrum, full spectrum, and you mean you're not having this big, huge algae problem like we all have? Well, no, I'm not. It doesn't mean that in some spots I may be getting some beard algae, which I think I'm growing a little bit here with the beard algae in this goldfish tank. But remember, I have a full spectrum lighting, and that's one reason you can wind up with beard algae is the blues and those reds. Blues are really the ones that are going to cause problems for you. So you have to knock them down to 5% or knock them out almost completely. And then your reds you're going to have to knock down in your light. And the fluval light gives you that choice. There's other lights, whatever you want to buy. You like a Hagen light, let's say, is going to be cheaper than the fluval. The fluval has an app. I think the Hagen light does not have an app. It programs on top. But the fact of it is, it's your choice what you're going to buy. But the light has worked flawlessly. It's very, very stable with what I've done using the tape and everything. It's not going to fall off. You're not going to knock it off because of the way the fluval light has the end, how the ends are, and it kind of sits in there, so the thing won't wiggle off. It's not going to slip off by accident and fall into the aquarium. But as far as if you watch the video and you set it up, and I use the API, for the bacteria, it's ran flawlessly. It has no ammonia, no nitrites, no nitrates, and phosphates are down to, 0.07, something like that, very, very low. But as far as the tank is, I've shown you videos on how it's settled. It's done well. And I made this tank exactly the way you would make it. And as you see the dark here, that is a growing substrate I bought. Now, if you want to add dirt in this section here, you can. Like pond dirt, they have a product to grow plants. They call it like pond dirt, for your water lilies. You can do that. I just bought a bag of this off of Amazon, and it's made to grow plants, much like your ADI or your fluval stratum. It's basically like that. I added that because of the water lilies, the pygmy water lilies I'm growing. And already they're sending little lily pads, which I'll show you the top of the aquarium, how big they are. They're just little small lily pads. And soon as all those grow, it will flower. And that's why I want to keep the top off, because I actually want them to have little bitty flowers. It's really neat. Something different is what I'm saying. Why do we keep making our tanks exactly the same? So I changed it up a little bit and made this tank into like a pond tank, okay, which would be kind of neat. You can do it inside, you could do it outside. This particular tank right now is running, like I said, about 71. It warms up a little bit in the day, but it won't drop any lower than 69 because I do have a heater, and the heater's on right now to keep it warm, to keep it at least 70 degrees, and the heater's set at 72, I think. So, and I'm testing out the heater to see if it's strong enough. It's a 200 watt, it could be a 300 watt. I'll find out what happens as the weather here in Florida starts getting cooler. But the fish's color are excellent, beautiful. The whites are just snow white. Okay, that's what you're looking for. You're looking for the colors to be perfect with goldfish, and the whites are just as white as you can get. And why? In fact, the whites are I'm going to admit it to you. The whites are so white that if you see like the whites on a damsel fish, the 3-spot damsel or the striped damsel, you just look at that white, how nice and white. That's what these goldfish white looks like. It looks like a saltwater fish. So they like that cooler temperature, and they definitely like the environment that they're in, using the plenum and the Fzone filter. So I have a little plant growing here, and I didn't put that there. So it must have been in the stones when I pulled it out of the 20-gallon tank. If you watch my video, I took the stones out of the 20-gallon and added it to the sand. Now this sand is just normal play sand. And why did I use normal play sand? I guess it's because I saw some of the forums and they said, don't buy play sand, you got to buy pool sand. And I thought, okay, I'm going to buy play sand. Now that's just me, because oh, it's going to compact, it's going to do this, you know. Well, I bought normal play sand, but I added a gravel into it, so I mixed it, so you won't get that compact sand. It's your choice what you want to do. But to me, I like it. You have the sand mixed with the gravel, and the goldfish seem to like it a lot. The tank's doing great. The plants are doing great, as you can see from the picture. The Harnworth, it's growing. The fish are eating on it. The wisteria is growing. Look at the bottom here. It's taking root. It's growing. There's a wisteria going in there. The algae's growing good. Yes, I am getting some. I can see beard algae here, but like I said, that's full spectrum. But I want the algae to grow because I want the fish to eat it. You know, this means I don't have to be a slave on feeding my fish. That's why I'm doing it. Okay, so the Fzone filter down here. I did a video on that. Is you have your choice of pumps for this particular filter. Now this filter is bigger, if you can get an idea, than a 2217 Eheim. It's bigger than that. But the thing about it is, I wanted to do a video, so in case you're thinking, oh, you know, I'd like to get something like that because I'm sick and tired of plastic pumps breaking. I show you a video on how I set it up and everything. There are some things I would do different. The Fzone, the motor, which I'll show you a picture, sits on a plastic piece that you have to buy separate. You buy the motor and you buy all this stuff separate. And I think I gave you a price of what I paid for the whole thing. And this I bought from Kmart, but you can also buy the same thing on Amazon. And one thing I would do different, if you're thinking about getting one of these, is I would buy a base. Instead of using the plastic base, I would buy this base. This base can be put on the pump, and it will allow the pump to sit back further off of the canister filter. This base will. The pump sits here. Instead of the piece I got, the pump sits here. And it's got a 3M sticky on it, and that's how you pull this off and stick it onto the canister, and then your pump would screw in and come back here. I should have bought this base instead of the smaller base, because this would have shoved the pump back at least 3 inches, and I wouldn't have had to modify anything on the pump then. All I would have had to do is get a tubing from the pump going into it, and if you watch my video how I had to modify the intake and cut it shorter, you don't have to do that. So if you're going to think about buying the Fzone, buy this base. It's not very expensive. It has the adhesive just like the smaller base, but you won't have to modify anything on the pump if you buy this. So I bought this because I wanted to show everybody exactly what to buy. Do not buy the small base, buy this bigger base. Yeah, the pump will stick off from the canister filter, but that's okay. And then this sticks onto here like this base is, and you follow my directions on how to put the pump onto the canister filter. The pump itself is a 800. They have a 500 and an 800. And I've seen on Amazon they even have a 6,000. The 500 will go 500 gallons, the 800, 800 gallons, and the 6,000 liters per hour is what, 1,500 gallons. But on this 800, the good thing about it's a DC pump. It shuts off when you want to feed it, but you can adjust it on the flow rate you want. So let's say if you buy one of these and in the future you decide you want to step up to a 75, 80, 90 gallon tank, you can step up the pump by just raising it to 100%. Now on this 40 gallon, it's running at 100% because we have goldfish. Goldfish are dirty. They create a lot of waste. Believe me, there's a lot of waste goldfish create. And I will get more into that, how to look at and read if a goldfish is doing well. And I will get into that in another video, how you can tell things like that. But in this video, just understand that, in the amount of time I've had this set up, over a month, the fish have spawned 3 times. The ranchus or lionhead have spawned twice. And the ryonkins that were in there, if you look at some of my other videos, you'll see 2 ryonkins, a calico, and you'll see an orange one. The orange one is a female, the calico one is a male, and they spawn. So within 1 month's time, I've had these goldfish spawn 3 times in 1 month. And that's great to have them do it. There are some eggs still caught in the Hornworth here from the last spawning of the ryonkins. But getting back to the pump runs dead silent. It's warm, no heat to talk about. But the thing I wanted to bring up, and if you're thinking about it and you're on the fence and you're thinking, I got to pay $200, $300 for a canister filter. I want a big one. I'm looking at the OSE, whatever, but maybe I can get one of those, or, and you're on the fence about it. I understand. The thing that I like, and this is a big plus with me, and I don't know why manufacturers do it. Whenever manufacturers rate their pumps, they always rate them with the canister filter empty. So you don't get anything near the output they claim. They're all like that. They all deceive. Why don't they, you wish there would be a government standard that would say you have to fill the pump the way you recommend to hobbyists, and now you let the hobbyists know what your head is and the speed of that filter. No, they don't do it. They do it with a completely empty filter, and then they tell you, oh, the output is 400 gallons an hour. Let's use that. And it's nowhere near it. I think one of the OSE ones, I saw a video, I think it was 400 gallons an hour, and the guy said it puts out 150 some gallons an hour. But this is very typical with filters. The good thing about this is because the filter is separate from the motor, you can get an upgrade motor. And let's say you want a pump that pumps 400 plus gallons an hour, even though it says 800. By the time this is all packed up, you're going to get at least 400 gallons an hour. You're going to be very happy with that because that is what you want. So that makes this a plus, because I myself am sick and tired of buying filters and manufacturers give you the specs on it, on how many gallons an hour it pumps out, and it doesn't pump out anything near that. And it really is very aggravating. And nobody wants to go out and buy an expensive pump like a Milwaukee pump that has a lot of head pressure at the price they charge. So these less expensive Chinese-made pumps seem to be exactly what we hobbyists are looking for. So I like this because I'm pumping at least 400 gallons an hour through this 48-gallon breeder tank. And that's what I want. I like to turn over my water a lot. And I think a lot of people are like that. They want to turn over the water a lot without blowing the fish all over the aquarium. And you can always diffuse water so it doesn't blow the fish. But once a pump can't pump what the manufacturer says, you can't make it go faster. So I like the flexibility. And in fact, the pump has been so good, I went out and I bought a second one because I have a 3-year guarantee, and the price is unbelievable. It's like, wow, it doesn't make any sound. So I went out and actually bought a brand new one, 3-year guarantee on it, of the Fzone pump. This is the 800 gallon an hour one. And I'm going to put this onto my 20-gallon tank and literally take the Milwaukee pump that ADA put on and add this pump and replace the Awaki pump, because the Awaki pump on that 20 gallon is only like 95 gallons an hour. You know, so, and I can always turn this down if I feel it's too much. But if I want it, I can use a different kind of like lily pipe or something. I can use something different to take the speed of this to turn over that aquarium. I've always believed in that. And I found this pump on Amazon, and I felt it was so good that I also, let me get this for you, bought another one, Fzone pump. And this is a 6,000 to add on to my 90 gallon, because you may think, why? That's a beautiful pump you have, that Awaki pump on that 2488. The problem is, what happens if it breaks? It's a mechanical device. It can break. It can break down, and what do? Do I want to buy another extremely expensive ADA pump to replace it? Or how about something like this? Why don't I try out something like this? Comes with a 3-year guarantee. It pumps 1,500 gallons an hour. By the time you're done, it's probably going to be down to the same as the Awaki pump, or maybe a little faster than the Awaki pump. I'll have a video on that coming up. The changeover, make sure everything fits so you don't have to go out and buy a very expensive Awaki pump, because this pump right here is still less than $100 compared to Awaki. It's still, and it's a DC pump, and it turns off, and it has variable speeds. The Awaki pump doesn't have any of that. It's an AC pump. It pumps, you know, you can't turn it down, you can't turn it off for feeding. So I'm going to try this out, and I'll just pack up the pump that comes with it, just to make sure that these canister filters have interchangeable pumps you can put on it, that you're not stuck with what the manufacturer gives you, or you can go with the higher rated pump. Okay, that's why I'm doing this. So you can understand that if you buy one of these pumps, the Fzone or whatever, or an 88, that you do have choices without buying the manufacturer's pump. You can go with a different manufacturer. That will be in another video. But anyway, I find this pump to be extremely quiet. You don't even know it's running. No heat, and it pumps out at least half of what it's rated for once you load it up. Watch my video on it. You'll see how I loaded it up, and you'll see exactly how this canister is loaded up. So I would say, with the modifications I did, and don't forget to get the bigger, if you're going to get one, get the bigger base. Don't get the smaller base. So the pump stays back. Then you don't even have to modify the pump. Just put this down, put your pump on it, and put your tubing on it. You're done. I mean, I wish I would have had this when I did the video, and that would have been the easiest way to do it, but it's better late than never. If you decided to buy one, make sure you get the bigger base and not the small base like I bought with it. So the pump, the canister filter, 0 problems. It's dead nuts quiet. The tank itself, beautiful. It's been a month. I'm getting 2 more ranchus in. They should be coming in by Tuesday or Wednesday, because I removed the Ryankans and put them in the antique 20 gallon, because if they're spawning and they're male and female, I don't want them interspawning with the ranchus. I want the ranchus, if they're going to spawn with the ranchus. I want the Ryankans to spawn with the Ryankans. So I took the Ryankans out so I don't have intermixing spawning and come up with mutt, fish. Beautiful. So thank you for watching, and until next time. Oh, I did want to bring up, since this is the end of the video, please subscribe. It would be nice if you could subscribe, because of the fact of it is for me to make these videos takes time, trouble, and people I see that watch them, they don't subscribe or whatever, and other video people, they seem to have a bigger crowd of people coming in, And the only thing I'm saying is, if I don't get enough subscribers and all, I won't be able to make the videos as plentiful, or I may just stop making the videos altogether, because it doesn't become worth my time and trouble to keep making videos if no one cares to really watch them, or nobody cares what I'm saying. Because see, I cannot compete against all the misinformation that winds up going out there. And if I tell you the right information, I can't compete with the misinformation, because it's so steadfast and so burnt into the stone that people have a hard trying to, evacuate out of that whole way of thinking and start thinking that, wow, this is the way a natural system works. And because there's going to be people wanting to diss this constantly. Oh, they don't want you using it. But always have to look at, where is the money? Do they own a shop? Do they sell equipment? Make a lot of sense, right? Always follow the money, and you're going to follow where the information goes from there. Anyhow, thank you for watching. Please subscribe. Until next time. Oh, in my next video, I will talk about the modification of the Fzone 6000 pump and what I did. It's going to be an interesting video, because I'll get more into it in the video, but you're going to want to watch that video, because it's going to give you some real good information in that video. So until next time, thank you for watching. This is Dr. Novak.